So here I want to show the assets part. Okay. So what happened? Like so far we did not seen about the assets, right? So what I did, like this is my config file. Okay. And I have created asset. Okay. With the type of a string, right? With the type of the string. And this is the asset name. Okay. This is the asset name which I have created into the orchestrator, right? And this is the name or key we can say, right? The key name we can give anything, and this is the value of the asset which I have created into the orchestrator, right? So what will happen when the flow will run, right? Init all applications, right? Init all settings, not application, init all settings, right? What it will do, it will read this asset. Okay. Then it will use the get asset. By using the get asset, it will call the real value, right, which is available into the orchestrator, right? And then it will assign to this key. Okay, so that the real value will get assigned to this app value, right? And what we can do during the initialization, okay, where we are doing the initialization, right? We are doing the initialization here in it all application work, right? Will pass here as a URL like in config app URL dot tools, right? So in this case, right, any asset apart from the credential, if you want to take, very well we can take it from the assets. Okay. So what you can do, you can create an asset. Suppose here I have created an asset, right? With the name as a Yahoo Finance URL, right? And what is the type? The type is a text. Okay, type is a text, and here I have given the URL. Similar way we did for a BB driver also, right? So what you can do, create a asset, give that asset name here along with this key, right? And then use that while using the open and see it's working. Okay, so please try or any question, doubt, like okay, working for everyone. All right. So now we'll move on. Okay, we have seen about asset, right? One more thing related to the asset that I want to discuss, right? Suppose any flow, right? Maybe Yahoo Finance. We'll take an example of Yahoo Finance, right? Because we just now completed. Okay. So yesterday we have discussed like we can deploy the same flow on a multiple bot also. Okay. Uh, and here we are not using credential, but just imagine we are using the credentials. Okay. Then what will happen? Suppose we are having bot A, bot B. Okay. Or maybe take a UI. Okay. So no one will get an UI one, right? Here what we are using? We are using admin. Okay. What are our credentials? Admin. Okay. Admin and password. So, correct. So if it is working on one bot, it is perfectly fine. But suppose we have created the flow and we want to run the same flow on a two bots. Okay. And normally what happens, right? The same username and password, right? We can log in on a multiple browser or multiple machine, right? But just imagine if there is any banking organization or healthcare organization, right? They will allow only one instance at a time, right? So just imagine if you want to run this flow on a multiple bots, right, or multiple machines, then how it will work, right? So in that case, what we have to do, we have to pass the same, we have to pass the same asset name, right? If it's going to work on a multiple bot, right? What will happen in the config file? We'll give only one asset name, right? Correct? Or maybe leave it about config, right? What we will do here, so password we can take from the config file, right? What we will do here, right? Suppose we are working on it, right? We'll use a get credential, right? Here we will use the get credential, right? Okay, we will use the get credential. So for the get credential, will point to the same folder, will point to the same credential, right? Or same asset. Then how can we handle that particular scenario in that? Okay, because if we give the same username and password to the bot A and bot B, right? Once it's logged into the one instance, and if the another bot is trying to log it, right, what will happen? We'll get a message, or it will terminate the previous session and it will log into the new session, right? So it can interrupt your execution or bot, right? So how to avoid, right? How to avoid? So we have to go here, create a new asset. Okay, create a new asset, and suppose here I'm giving like repeat travel credentials. Okay, and I'm going to select as a tag credential, right? Can you see global? Global means it can access multiple bots. Okay, either two bots, three bots, four bots, doesn't matter. But when we are having this scenario, how can we handle? So we have to disable this, add this add robot asset, right? User. So I have only one user, but if you have more user, it will get here added here machine. Select machine, right? And here we can add admin password. Okay, add it. So these are the credentials specific to this machine. If you have another machine, we can go here. We can select another machine, another user, and we can add the new password like admin one and password one. Click on the create. So what will happen? Even though we are giving the same credential name, right? Based on the bot, okay? Based on the bot name, it will get allocated to respective bot with the help of this machine and user, right? So in this way, if you want to give the multiple credential to the different bots for the same process, we have to use this add robot async. Clear? Many doubts.
Vaibhav, it is clear. Just one question. So basically, you have given the machine name, and this username password is of that machine username password, yeah, that we have to log in that
It's not
machine.
machine username password, it's application password, right? We are talking about application password.
Okay. So, how we will handle the situation? For example, if there are multiple machines and we have to pass credentials of the machine also to log in into machine and then run the
Log
bot.
into the machine, that's a different story. Okay, we'll talk about it. So this asset is
Okay.
clear, right?
Yeah, that is clear.
Oh, asset is okay. So what we have to do, right? When we are doing the machine configuration, okay? Because what happens, how the machine will be available here, right? We have to do the configuration, right? Into the orchestrator, right? So can you see here? Okay, let me go back. Go machines. Can you see the machines? So here we are having add machine template. Okay. So here we have to give the machine name and all, right? And we are using community edition, right? So that's the reason it will not show all the details. Okay. But when we are adding this machine, it will ask the machine name, it will ask its username, password as well, and then we'll allocate the license as well. Either it's unattended bot, attended bot, or testing bot, for example, right? And we'll provision it. Okay. So that what will happen? That machine will get configured into the orchestra. Okay. So once we configured it, then only it will be available for us to use it. So from here we are doing the configuration. Clear?
Yes, Vaibhav, it is clear. Just a follow-up question on that. Uh, like we have configured the machine, uh, and then we have given the username password also. Sorry, the question just skipped from my mind. I will let you know.
Mm-hmm. So what is
Yeah,
question?
yes, yeah, yeah. So yeah, sorry, it just skipped from my mind. So the question is basically when we are running this. So, for example, there are multiple machines. We have configured the machines here. Then we have given the application username, password, everything is configured. So when we are running, do we have to install this UiPath Studio in all the machines, or is there any executable file or anything which we can deploy in
No, no,
multiple
no.
machines?
See,
And
Studio we are using for the development, right?
yeah,
Studio we are using development purpose, right? So to run it, it is not required. Okay, this is really good question, right? So what we want to do, suppose we have built this process, right? And now we have to deploy into the production where it should run, right? So where what we need only this UiPath assistant, okay? This assistant which we discussed, right? UiPath assistant, okay? We need only this UiPath assistant on that particular machine, and it should be connected to the orchestrator. Even it's not necessary like orchestrator can be on that particular machine. Orchestrator can be anywhere. Okay, only thing it should be connected uh, with the orchestra. That's so this will help to execute the automation UiPath assistant, or it is called as a UiPath robot.
it's clear now,
Right?
Vaibhav. Thank you.
Because this will help to execute it, right? This will help to execute the automation. And if it's attended, we discuss like the business users can directly run from this assistant. Okay. Why we was running from here? Because we have developed and we was testing it. That's the reason. But in real time, we don't require a studio to execute it. Why? Then because uh, we are having the cost involved. So studio having the separate cost, assistant having the separate cost, and this orchestrator, okay, this orchestrator having the separate cost. So all these three components will have the separate cost, okay. It will not come as a bundle basic, okay. So that's the reason the organization will try to save the cost, okay, because whenever it's not necessary, will not use, okay.
Okay, yeah, Vaibhav, it is clear, yeah. And I think we already discussed that when we are deploying the new version in Assistant, you will see the version one, 2, 3,
Correct,
4,
correct,
whatever
correct.
we
Yes,
want
yes.
to run. Yeah.
It
Okay.
will be available whenever you will push the uh, new version or new package into that particular orchestrator environment, right? So it will be available. So only thing we have to make sure we have to publish right version, and that process we have to install as well. After that, what will happen? Suppose I will show the schedule as well. Suppose we have schedule 9 a.m. process on a every day, right? So that machine should be on. Okay, machine should be on even though it's a log, right? The bot will take a control, it will log into that machine, okay, and it will perform all these actions, okay. But for that we needed that license type also, then only it will happen.
Okay, yeah. This was my follow-up question that how we will trigger all the bots in multiple machines.
We'll
But
see that, we'll
yeah,
see that.
okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Thanks.
so now we have seen about the how to pass the multiple assets, right, by using the same asset, right. Now the next thing we will see, we was talking about, right. We was to talking about this folder, right? So I think someone asked like uh, how to create a folder, and we have seen it, but why we have to create a folder, right? So the thing is like that. Suppose you are having organization, right? Suppose we are having organization or any organization, right? They are having different departments, maybe finance department, insurance department, HR department, right? Software department, IT department, or we can say, right? And every department having their own automation. Okay, so HR having their own automation, finance having their own automation, IT having their own automation, right? Or any department. Okay, so what will happen? Organization will have only one orchestrator. It's not the thing every department will have this separate orchestrator because it's costing thousands of dollars for a year, right? So what we have to do, we have to have only one orchestrator on organization level. Okay. And suppose if we are automating the process, right, for the HR department, so we'll have a separate folder for HR department. So HR department can have the access to the respective folder only. Okay. And they can see their process, they can manage their assets and all, and the admin will give the access to them, okay, to the required people, right, to go and check whatever they want to do. So they will give the access to only HR department. Okay. So even though here we are having different folder, the HR people will not able to go and see the process for other department. Same is applicable for IT department. Same is applicable for the finance department because data security is there, right? So no department can see each other's data basically, or they will not able to interfere during their processes or any particular sensitive data. Right? So that's the purpose of this folder. Clear? Clear? Any question down? Okay, we can consider. Yes, it's clear. Okay. So we have talked about this folder stuff. Then we will talk about the tenant. Can you see the tenant? Okay. Well, if you see this tenant is there. So what is this tenant? Okay. So what happens? As I said, we are having the process for HR department. We are having process for finance department, IT department, right? But the business rule, okay, business rule will be different for a Asia specific department, right? Or maybe India department. The business rule can be different for the uh, Europe department. The business rule can be different for a Gulf. The business rule can be different for USA and Canada. So then what will happen, right? So process will be there for the HR department. The business rule will be different. So as per the region, right, we have to mold that process, or the business rule can be changed according to the region, right? So in that case, every region will have separate tenant, okay, and that processes will get added to the respective tenant, and the access will be granted accordingly. Okay, so that's the purpose of tenant. Clear?
Sorry, Weber, can you repeat it, please?
So what I was saying, suppose we talk about HRD, right? So what HR department is doing basically, right? Their functions they are doing, right? Maybe they will have some salary structure, right, based on the band and grade, right? So for Asia or India, it will be different. For Europe, it will be different based on their laws, rules, regulation, country, right? Same thing is applicable to US and Canada as well, right? So what will happen if there is a process to enroll the candidate and this is automated, right? Or onboarding we can, right? So if it is in India, like we are having, we have to fill the PF form, we have to fill the different forms, right? But if it is go to the European region or Gulf region or US, and it will be different, right? So based on region to region or country to country, the process will differ. The business rule will differ, right? The same process will not be useful for all the regions, right? So to mold that process as per to region and country, we have to change that particular process, right? So same region will not able to, or different region will not be able to use the same process, right? So as per the region, we have to mold that process, right? So in that case, we have to divide those department region wise, okay? So that India or Asia specific region, we can see those processes into their respective tenant, right? Then Europe or US and Canada region can see their respective process into that respective. So that is the purpose of tenant. to segregate the process uh, based on the region wise or country wise. Okay, clear now?
Mm. Yeah, Vaibhav, yeah, it's clear.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right. So that's the purpose of tin and that's the purpose of folder stuff. Okay. Now, here we'll see like we are in the home, correct? In the home, we can you see this monitoring? Okay. So if you go to the monitoring, right, it will give you all the status basically, right? It will give you the overview. Overview is mentioned as the job status, like how many jobs are running, how many are pending, how many are terminated, right? Same thing, it will show the job history, right? How many are successful, faulted, stopped, then transaction history, how many it has processed, right? So basically this kind of a dashboard, okay? So your management or higher authority or anyone want to go and see what is happening currently, how your automations are running, right? How many machines are configured, right? So it will show you all the live statistics of your automation. Okay. Similar way, if you go to the processes, right? See, it will show you all the problems. How many processes are there, right? How many are pending, right? Similar way, it will give for the queue as well. So how many queues are there, right? So it is showing these are the queues. How many successful transactions? How many business exception we got? How many system exception we got, right? Then transaction timeline, how much transaction it has processed, right? So it will show you all the live statistics basically, okay, for your automation, right? So this kind of dashboards has already inbuilt, okay, and it will give you our live or real-time statistics, right, for the machines, process, use, and overview. This, okay. So we don't need to do any extra effort for the reporting one. Okay, fine. Now we'll go to the next thing, right? Two things are pending here, but we will come time to time. Okay.
Vaibhav,
Now,
just a quick question. That sometimes when we are running a project, we have to send a kind of a daily report. Can we extract this information and send it into email?
so if you go here, right, we can go. So here we don't have any option basically to download. Okay, here we don't. In terms of dashboard, we don't have any. So we can take a screenshot and we can see.
Okay, sir. Okay, that's fine.
Now, we have created the training order system flow on a day two. Okay. Can you please open that flow? We have to see one thing. Okay. Day two, we have created a training order system. So can you please open that flow? We have to see one more thing. All right. So what thing I want to show here basically. Okay. So so to write the data here. Okay. To write the data here, what we did basically, right, we have created a build data column. Okay, build data table basically, right? And then we have used the add data row, right? Hope you remember, right? So we have created a column, right? Order reference number or something like that, right? Remember? So what we can do in that case, right? Uh, Suppose if you don't want to use the right? If you don't want to use the build data table and add data row, right? We have another alternative for this. What is another alternative, right? Uh, Suppose we are away, right? Like here, uh, we have to add order reference number, right? Order reference number. So we'll create a column by default. Okay. So whenever this sheet is there, this column will be there. For example, it cannot be, right? So it's based on the requirement, right? This is already there. Okay, if it is already there, then what we can do, right? So we no need to use build data table, we no need to use a add data. So what we can do in that case, we can write each cell directly. Okay, we can write into each cell directly. So how can we write into the each cell directly? We'll see. Okay, so here we don't require a build data table, right? So what we can do here, the flow will be as it is, there will be no change. So here you are taking where order num, okay, into this particular variable, okay. And here what we was using this one, right? We was using this add data row, right? And then we are using write range workbook, right? So instead of that, what we can do, we can use this write cell workbook, okay, write cell workbook. So what write cell work, write cell work. So what it will do basically, okay, here we have to give the path of your workbook, sheet name, right? Where you want to write, that we have to give it, right? Where we want to write. So we want to write in F2, F3, F4, right? That we have to, right? And here cell content. So this can accept string value, okay? So in which variable we are having this order number or where order, right? So we can give the sheet name, sorry, file path, sheet name, and where order. Okay, we have given. But how to make it dynamic, basically, right? So I can mention here F, okay, F, correct? But like it should be F2, F3, F4, something like that, correct? So here we can use a counter variable. So you can see here I'm using the counter variable, okay? And counter value, okay? I have given it as a 1, okay? Counter value, default value, I have given it as a 1. It will start from the 1, okay, because we have to start writing from F2, F2, F3, F4. So that's the reason I have taken 1. So before writing here, okay, before writing here, I will increment the counter. Counter is equal to counter plus 1, and that counter value I will provide it. So how, F counter dot to. So what will happen? For every iteration, the counter value will increase by 1, right? And accordingly, it will write into that particular cell. So in this way, what we can do, we can write the cell wise also. Clear this concept? Any doubt, any question? Okay. So can you please try and let me know? Because you already have the flow, right? You no need to do anything, only add data row, write range, disable it, right? And just use these two things. And make sure counter variable, right? You will create a counter variable. By default, इसका ये क्या रहेगा? A scope, it will be a do or body, whatever, right? So go to the variable and increase the scope to the processing. Okay? We have to increase the scope to the processing. So let's. So have you got it right? In case if you already have, right, or we can already add it here, very well we can handle it, right? So we no need to create a build data table. We no need to create add data. Clear? Perfect. Right? Okay. Now we'll go back to the next. Let me know. Hmm. Okay. Suppose. Okay. Suppose. Where are we? Right? Okay. Suppose we have to use right range workbook. Okay, suppose we have to we have to use a right range workbook. Okay, but I don't want to use a build data. So that is also one of them, right? What we are going to do, I want to use the right range workbook, but I don't want to use the build data, right? So what we can do, there is another approach. Okay. Uh, uh, Suppose like this is for BP travel. Okay. So what we are doing here, we will read the data from the Excel, right? We have read the data from Excel. We have stored into the variable. What is the variable name? Booking. Okay. Now, what we can do during the runtime, during the runtime, not into the Excel, during the runtime, we can add the column into this particular data table. So how to add the column into that particular data table? By using the add data. Okay. By using the add data, right? And here we can give the column name. What is my column name? Invoice number, right? And in which data table we want to write? We want to write into the booking data. So now booking data has all the data, right? Along with that invoice number or order number, whatever the column, right? That column is all data. All good. Now the next thing, what we will do, we'll go to the for each. Okay. We'll go to the for each loop. We'll provide that booking data here, right? And now in this booking data, we are having all the column along with that order number column, right? So what we can do, we can go down, okay? We'll fetch the data from the uh, order number or the booking reference, right? So you can see here we are taking the data by using the get text and we'll store into the variable, which variable? Booking reference, okay? Now what we can do, right? We don't need to use the add data, right? We no need to use the add data row. Very simple. What we can do, we can just use this assign activity. Okay. And by using that assign activity, here we'll assign the variable name in which we are having the booking number. And here we'll mention row, right? Row. We know, right? We are giving this row from dot to string row dot to string. Similar way, row invoice. So whatever the row we have added newly, right? Whatever the row we have added newly. So what it will do, it will fetch this value, it will assign to this row number, right? And this row number is a part of which variable, right? It is a part of this data table variable. So what will happen? Each and every iteration, that row number, that order number will assign to that row invoice number and it will get stored into this booking data. Okay. Now we have to write into the Excel, correct? We have to write into the Excel. So what we can do, right? We can use this right range, okay, outside the for each, okay, outside the for each, and here we can give sheet name, sheet path or file path, and we'll mention starting from A1. Why we will mention starting from A1? Because the booking data has all the data, okay, input column along with the new column we have created and the value which we have written. So here we have to mention A1. Okay, maybe I will open the file and show you for a better understanding. Suppose this is my input file. Okay, so the input file having all this data, right? It is available into the booking data, right? And then by using that data column, we have added the new column. Okay, we have added the new column, right? But we did not add it into the Excel. We have added into that variable, data table variable, right? And now once the process is done, that booking data variable having all this data, input data, right? Along with that, the newly added column, right? Along with all this order number, right? It will have all that. And now we have to write into the Excel, right? So what will mention? Obviously, will mention from A1. If you mention from M1 or N1, it will write whole data again from here. So that's the reason we have to give it from the A. Clear? Clear this concept? Any doubt, any question? Okay. So these are the different ways
So,
to do it.
so Vaibhav, just a quick question. When we are writing, like, we are not mentioning M1. Like earlier, we used to mention whatever column name we have to write, but now you are saying we have to mention A1, and that will understand automatically that where to write. Suppose it has to write in M1.
No, 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 no. Here I'm mentioning A1,
Yeah.
not M1. Okay.
So A1
Why?
is mentioned, but in A1 already there is a serial number.
So it will overwrite. Okay.
Okay.
It will overwrite all the data here. So suppose like what happened previously, right? Previously we are not having this data. Okay. This data was not having, right? We are having only this. And now in the booking data variable, we are having this data along with this data. Okay. Right. We are having this data. We are having this data. So we are having all the data into the booking reference. So now when it will write, it will overwrite. Like, okay. So these are the different ways basically. So that's the reason I just want to explain.
Yeah, it's clear now. Vaibhav.
Okay. Please. Okay. So please try whenever you will get time. Try this approach as well, right? So we'll have different approach in place. Okay. And in that scenario, okay, in the same scenario, right? Suppose we already have this column name here. Okay. If you have already this column name here, so what we can do, right? We can just escape this. We will not add it because when it will come here, okay, into the booking data, right? This column will already part of this data table, right? And in this scenario, we can directly give the reference in this. Okay. Only thing we will not use this step at data. Okay, clear? Okay, so please try as well. So whenever you will get time while doing the practice. Okay. Now we'll go back to the orchestrator once again. Okay. So those are small topics are left. So we'll talk about it. Right. So I will close this. So it will take up a lot of memory. Okay. Okay. So first we'll talk about this, then we'll go there. Okay. So in RE framework, okay, we have discussed few things, right? But few things are still pending. So now we will talk about it. Okay. So in process transaction, okay, we have discussed like whenever there is a success, whenever there is a failure, or in case of business exception, system exception, right? It will get marked into the queue, right? But how it is doing it, right? How it is doing. So that flow we did not see, right? So we will talk about that flow now. So now we are in the process transaction. Okay, go to the process transaction, right? And go to this final, go to this try. Okay, so what is mentioned here? Catch set transaction status. Set transaction status. So this flow has built to set the transaction state. Okay, this flow has built to set the transactions. So how it is setting the transaction status? Okay, open this one. Okay, So you can see this flow has created by default, correct? So what is the thing here? It will check in business exception is nothing and in system exception is nothing. Okay. It means there is no business exception, no system. So if no business exception, no system exception, what do you mean by it? It means it's success, right? So it will go to the true, it will go to the success, right? And can you see this? Say transaction status, right? So what it is marking as a success. Okay, it will mark it as a success, right? Then we'll go back. If this condition false, okay, if this condition false, it will come here. And what it is checking? In business exception is not nothing. Okay, if business exception is not nothing. If business exception is not nothing means some business exception is there, right? And if some business exception is there, right, what will be the case? Right? It means it's a business exception. So it will go to the true section, business exception, and it will mark it as a business. Okay, it will mention as a failed, right? And if you go here, right, it will see select the exception type as a business. Okay, clear? Now we'll go back to the set transaction status again. And if there is no success, no business exception, what is the final thing? It will mention as a system, right? So this flow set transaction status, right? What it is doing basically, it will set the transaction status based on the it, either it's success, either it's business exception, either it's a application. Clear? Any question, any doubt? Fine. Now we will go to the get transaction. Okay, get transaction. So we did not talk about this check stop signal, right? So what is this check stop signal? We directly went into this, right? Get transaction workflow, right? So now we'll talk about this check stop signal, right? So what is a check stop signal? Suppose, uh, like you are running the attended process, okay? You are running the attended process, right? And attended process, or we can say it's unattended only, okay? But we don't have any specific schedule. Okay, we don't have any specific schedule. We are running that flow from the orchestrator. I will show you how to run, right? We are running that process from the orchestrator. And when we are running that process from the orchestrator, right, you run by mistakenly, okay? Or you are testing it and now you want to stop it, basically, right? Or it might be the case, uh, your process is running, right, but it's failing continuously. It might happen like your applications are not working properly or not responding, or it will launch it during the initialization, but again it will fail, right? So something happened, and because of that, all the transactions are failing, okay, or most of the transactions are failing, right? So what we can do, because we'll not able to go to that VM and we can log in it because bot has already taken the control of it, right? So what we can do, suppose, uh, go to the home. This is your process. Okay. And can you see jobs? Right. Currently, we don't have a job. So we can click on the start. Right. We can select the process. Right. Suppose I want to select this process and click on the start. Right. So I have started this process. Right. And now I want to stop it. Right. So I can go here and click on the stop. So as soon as I click on the stop, right, what will happen? Whenever the bot is completing any transaction, every time it will check like, did I receive any stop signal, right? If it is received any stop signal, should stop, right? Its output is should stop. Then what it will do, it will mention transaction atom is nothing because we have to stop the bot. How will stop the bot? if there are no transactions, right? So intentionally, right? Intentionally, it will mention transaction atom is nothing and the bot will get stopped. So this is the functionality of check stop. Clear? Any question, doubt? Okay. Now here we'll have one more thing called as a kill process. Kill. So what is the difference between stop and kill basically, right? So kill process, what will happen? It will stop it immediately, right? Even though any transaction is processing, it will not wait. Okay, it will stop immediately. But what stop process will do? It will complete that particular transaction which is processing. Okay, and then it will stop. But what kill will do? It will kill means it will kill immediately at the same. So that is the difference between stop and kill. Okay, and here whenever you will run any process, okay, you can see the logs from the orchestrator. And if you click on okay, and if you click on the view logs, right, it will show you the all the logs here. So whatever the logs has added, right, for a tracing purpose, information purpose, right? So all the logs you can see for your particular process. And for that you can take a export if you want to send to someone, right? That can be done from here. Okay. And at the same time, like if you go to the logs, right, you can see I'm having different logs are available here, right? See. So here we can go and filter it. Suppose I want to get the log for the like information, warning and all, I can see, right? I want to see only the trace log, right? So we can apply the filter accordingly. Okay. Similar way, if you want to see the log on the basis of machine, right? It will show the logs on the basis of machine basically, right? If you want to, and if you want to reset, we can reset it, right? So mostly the bot monitoring team will monitor those logs and all or support team we can. Okay, so all the logs related to the process will be available here. Clear? Now we'll go back to the triggers. Okay, or if you go here, you can see the triggers here. What do you mean by triggers? Right? Trigger means schedule. Okay, so if you want to run any process on any particular time, okay, suppose any process you want to run every day, like morning 9 a.m. and evening 9 p.m., or you want to run on a weekdays at 8 a.m., right, or any particular time, we can schedule that particular process. It is like a alarm, right? Suppose if you want to uh, wake up tomorrow at 5 a.m., we'll set up the alarm, and as soon as 5 o'clock is there, right, it our clock will start alarming basically, right? So same thing we can do it from here as well. Maybe you people have heard about Windows scheduler, right? The same functionality is available here. So just go to the triggers. Okay. Now I'm in the triggers, correct? Or you can see, for example, I'm having the trigger. No, it's not available. Okay, forget it. So you can see I have scheduled this, right? Go to the So if you go to the or how to set up the trigger, we have to give the name to the process. I have set up the trigger for the so whatever the process you have published, you can see here. So you can select the process. Suppose I want to do it, right? Here we can mention like it's a testing, unattended or attended process, right? Attended process we can't do it. We can mention unattended testing, non-production, for example, right? And here we can select machine, host name, account, right? And here we have to give all the things related to the schedule. time zone, right? Because process can be scheduled at any time, right? So here we are having different time zones are available, right? IST, PST, right? Or EST, CST, right? CET. All the time zones are available. So based on our requirement, we can select. Okay. Then how you want to run the process? Like every minute, for example, if any process is there, if you want to run on every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, right? Based on requirement, huh? Because that process is taking 2 hours of time and we are scheduling it after 10 hours, 10 minutes, right? Obviously, it will be missed, right? So every minute, every hourly, after 1 hour, if you want to run 1.5 hour, we can give that, right? So if you want to run on a daily, right? So this process will run daily. At what time? Suppose if you want to run morning, we have to mention 8. If it's 8:30, right? We have to mention it's 30, basically. Okay. We have to mention it 30 accordingly, whatever is. Okay. Suppose if you want to run at a evening 8, right? So we have to mention as a 20. It will follow the 24 hours of clock, right? Then weekly, right? Here we have day, right? If you want to run on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, right? At what time we can mention the time. If you want to run on a monthly basis, right? Repeat every month, right? If you want to run on a last day of the month, right? If you want to run on a last working day of the month, if you want to run on last first day, second date, or any particular, we can say, okay? Then monthly day of week, right? So all these particular options are available there. But even after doing all these or all setting this frequency, you don't have the uh, option to schedule as per our requirement. Okay, 99% or 99.9% it will be there. But still, if you are not able to achieve, we have the advanced option are available, which is like we can give the cron expression. Okay, so cron expression is not specific to UiPath or RPA. It is global across the software industry. So if you want to understand the cron expression, we can very well go ahead. But just for example, so if you want to run the process every day, right, or every month, first day, right? So we are having this cron expression. So we can go here, right? This is the cron expression for, right? So we can give this cron expression and you can see what is the significance of each and every field as given here. So we can give this cron expression directly here. Okay, so based on that cron expression, your flow will get triggered and we can just click on the update, right? So you can see I have added this trigger. Now it is disabled. Suppose I want to enable it, I can enable it. So as soon as this time reaches, right, it will execute. Can you see here it is giving as a next run time. So when it will run in a next 5 days. It will run on a 7 days. Okay, so automatically your process will get triggered by using this. Clear? Any question, any doubt? Uh, Now we'll talk about the API, right? So is anyone work on API so far or any just idea like what is the API? Okay. So API is like an application programming interface. Okay. And what is the purpose of it? Right? It will be used for a data transmission. Okay. It will be used for a data transmission between front end and back end. Right? It's like intermediary between front end and back end. Okay. Suppose you are going to Amazon. Okay. Suppose you are going to Amazon and on the Amazon, what you want to do? Like you will go and you want to search the mobile, you want to search the laptop, right? So what we are doing? We are going there, we'll type into the search, Once you type and hit on the search button, what will happen? You will get the required output, correct? You will get the required output from there, right? So whenever you are doing that query, right, what will happen? Request will go to the database. Okay, request will go to the database, and what API will do, it will take that request to the database, right? And after that, right, based on the query, data will get fetched from the database, and it will be displayed on the screen. Okay, so this communication or this data transmission is doing by the API. Okay, and what are the advantage of API? Right, it will do the faster communication. Right. Second thing, it having authentication, basically, right? So because of all these reasons, organizations are using this API. Okay. So now we will go and see. So when you will work on a real project, obviously your organization will provide the APIs to you, right? But here, this is a website. It is giving the free, right? So now we will see how to use it. Okay. And in API, we are having different methods are available like get, post, patch, delete, right? So get means if you want to take the data from the uh, database, right? So we'll send a request, right? So I have to discuss about the example. We are doing the query from the Amazon, right? So what it will do basically, it will take it in terms of request. Okay, it will take in terms of request, right? So it will go to the request and it will take the response, right? So when we are sending the request, it will have the endpoint URL, right? It will have the endpoint. So here we are having this get request. So what this get request is doing, it is fetching the data from the your database, right? So it having this endpoint URL, okay? And you can see once I hit this endpoint URL, I'm getting this data. Okay, this is a free API, so it don't have any authentication. Okay, so when I'm hitting it, I'm getting this response. So now what I want to do, from this response, I want to fetch required information. Suppose I want to extract this per page information, right? Page information, per page information, or I want to extract this data information. Within the data, I want to extract this email ID, first name, last name, avatar, right? So how can we do it? We'll see. Also, Uh, imagine so far we have taken the input data from the Excel, we have taken the input data from the database. Just imagine your input is coming from the JSON, or maybe your input is coming from the API, right? Like UI demo details, training order, repeat travel, RP challenge, anything, right? How can we handle it? We'll see. But before that we have to do one thing, right? We have to install the package. Okay, we have to install the package. So which package we have to install? We have to install the web API package, right? Because by default the API activities are not available. Okay, so how can we do it? Let's So I have given the URL into the group chat. So let's go ahead and install the package. Okay. So go to the manage package. How to install the any package? From manage package, all package, right? Type web API. Okay, type web API. Can you see this web API here? Okay, and make sure do not take the latest version. Huh? Take this 1.18.0. Okay, right, and click on the install. See. So what will happen? It will install the API activities, API related activities in your project. So can you please go ahead and install this package, and then we'll start. We have installed the our package, right? Now we'll see how to use it. Uh, First we have to use HTTP, right? This HTTP, drag and right, and click on the config. As soon as you click on the configure, here it will ask you this endpoint URL. So copy this endpoint URL and give here in a double quote. Okay, endpoint, right? And here we are using get method, right? A response can be anything, right? And in case if you want to give the authentication, we can go here and we can select your authentication type, right? Give their username and respective password, right? But we don't have, so we'll not select. We'll mention as a none and then click on the preview. So as soon as we click on the preview, right? Can you see all the data which we can see here? We can see into the UI bar. Okay, click on those. If you are not getting it, check the API property. Okay, go to the properties and here into the output. Okay, there is output response content. Okay, here we can mention as a reason. Okay, and now we'll see that result into the message box. This is run this. Can you see? Right? We are getting all the data from there. Okay, but what we will do with the data? Right? What we will do with that? Right? We require other things as well. We have to extract each and everything. Click on the OK. Right? Now, what is the next step? We have to do deserialization. Okay, deserialization. So, what is the purpose of it basically? You will ask why we are going to do it, right? It will deserialize the JSON string to a JSON object. Okay, so the output we are getting it is getting in string, right? So that output will provide here. Okay, and it will convert that into the JSON object. Then the question is why it has to convert into the JSON object, right? Because because we'll give the reference of this parameter and we'll get the real value. That is the reason we have to uh, convert it into the JSON object. And this is not specific to RPA or UiPath. This is standard or across the industry, right? So now what I will do here, I will go and I want to extract any information. So J object, open close bracket, page, right? Dot to. So it will give the value for the page. Okay. Similar way, if you want any other info, and it will give the value in string. So we can use it any. So go to the per page information or total info. Right? So here I will mention that it will display as a total. Right? Now suppose I want to display uh, for data. Right? We'll go and I will give here as a okay run. So you can see for the total page it having single information. Okay, so it is displaying. But for the uh, we can say data, right? We are having more than one information. Okay, see, and now what I want to do, I want to extract this information one by one, right? It's like a data table, for example. Just imagine, and we have to extract each and every information, right? So this information we have to convert into the array, right? Array. So how to do it? These three like JSON, right? And what we can do, we can provide a J object here. Okay, this one, J object data. What we want to convert is J object. Okay, and then we'll store into this variable J array, right? And by using the for each, okay, by using this normal for each, normal for each, right? we can extract each and every information, right? So go here, type JRA, okay, JRA, and now whatever information you want to extract, we can extract from. Okay, suppose this, this, this. Okay, so this will get stored here into the current J token. Okay, current J token. So current J token, open close bracket, double quotes. What do you want? Like you want email, right? Very well we can go email dot put. Okay, now we need another, right? What we need? Suppose we need a first, first. Then we need a auta, out this and this. Then okay. So this is initial thing, right? Now it has given the all the information, but after this it will take the each and every information one. Michelle dot Lawson. Then it will take first name. It will take out the right. So similarly, it will work on all the records. All clear. So API database, those things are very simple, and this can be done in the background, right? So it will do the faster automation effectively. Will not have any selector issues and all. Okay. So if it is possible to do the API automation, right? We should go with clear. Yeah. So please and let me know in case of any problem.
Well, I'm getting an error in updating that package, like basically installing the package API.
Have you selected this package? This
I haven't. Oh,
1.18.0.
let me just try.
Sorry?
No, no, I'm selected the other one.
No,
Means
no,
I
no.
searched for API and then didn't get
No, no, no.
one
Don't
dot
select the topmost. Select this one.
18. Oh,
So, Vaibhav, I have selected 1.18.0, but it's showing me one error. Can I
Okay.
can I share my screen 1 minute here? So this is basically it is showing me.
What error it is showing? Can you go over
So,
the mouse?
yeah, package installation failure.
So try it again. Uninstall. Go to the all package. Select that package. Is your internet connection good, right?
It is fine here.
Because it will install, right? It is still doing. Nothing is right.
So far there is no error. Can I close it and
No, no,
check
no.
here?
You have to save right unless and until they are not.
Okay, okay,
That's the reason it is. Click on from there also.
okay. Yeah. So I will wait then. Yeah, and once it is installed, then I will proceed further.
Okay, sure, sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Wherever I'm getting error that that package cannot be installed. The studio provides its own version of this package.
Yeah. What is your version? So are you using this version?
18 वाला ही I'm trying to
No, no,
install.
no. I'm see on my. I'm talking about studio version.
Studio ना एक बार check करना पड़ेगा. हाँ same 24.10.1.
होना चाहिए. दिखाइए एक बार.
एक बार फिर से करते हैं.
बिकॉज दिस कम्युनिटी में होता है मतलब ये प्लस माइनस तो एक दिखाइए आप व्हाट एरर यू गेट.
Okay.
इधर इंस्टॉल ही नहीं हो रहा है. I think your video is on.
Okay.
ठीक है जाइए यहाँ पे. मतलब it is not going ahead, right?
It will keep going in circle.
Same thing is happening out them also. For me it was. ठीक है तो do one thing. Go to that version drop down. कोई पुराना select कीजिए 16 वगैरह select कीजिए. Let's see. Version हाँ हाँ. Select that. Click on save. Save पे click कर दीजिए. Now it is installed.
We try करोगे 80.
Now it is installed. Save. Save पे.
Same ना. भी हो गया.
ठीक है. मैं भी गौतम आप भी ऐसे ही ट्राई कीजिए.